My husband and his high school sweetheart were both poisoned by the same kidnapper. Holding the only vial of antidote, my husband didn't hesitate. He saved her. I spent a year as a vegetable, rotting in a hospital bed while everyone waited for me to pull the plug. When I finally opened my eyes, the first thing that scumbag said to me wasn't "I love you." It was, "Sign the divorce papers, Maya. Chloe is pregnant." I looked the men I once worshipped dead in the eye and asked, with if he didn't bring flowers or tears of joy.
No.
The first thing they asked the doctor was, "Is her uterus still functional? Can she still breathe?" When the doctor said yes, they looked disappointed, visibly pissed off. They never came back. I thought I'd be heartbroken. I wasn't. When you've already died once, you don't have much patience for bullshit. On the day of my discharge, my brother, Travis, came to pick me up. He looked at me like I was a burden he couldn't wait to drop off. "Chloe isn't feeling well. Her heart acts up lately. Don't blame mom and dad for not visiting. Chloe has always been fragile." He noticed my blank stare and snapped, his voice dripping with annoyance. "Jesus. Maya, can you stop being jealous of your own sister for 5 seconds?" I blinked, genuinely confused.
What?
I was looking at that dog outside. Look at it howling. It looks stupid. There was a massive husky on the sidewalk, screaming its head off while people filmed it for TikTok. Travis realized I wasn't listening to his lecture. He didn't apologize. He just doubled down. "Look, while you were sleeping for a year, Chloe's health got worse. When you come home, don't start drama with her." "Okay," I said, cutting him off. He looked suspicious. "What's your angle?" I stared into his eyes. Deadpan. "Why would I have an angle?" He sputtered, realized nothing he said was sticking, and sighed, "Whatever. Don't come to the family house. Chloe moved back in this month. Blake has plenty of room at his mansion. Go sort it out with your husband. If it's not working, just divorce him already." I tilted my head. "Husband?" Just then a knock on the window. It was Blake Sterling, my supposed childhood friend, my supposed husband. Travis hopped out, exchanged a few hushed words with Blake, and then opened my door. "Blake's taking you. Go figure out your mess." We got into Blake's luxury sedan. He didn't waste time with pleasantries. He clearly hated my guts. "Let's just get the divorce over with," Blake said coldly, starting the engine. "Chloe is pregnant." I paused. I didn't scream. I didn't act like a crazy shrew. I didn't cry. I was as calm as if I were listening to a boring podcast. My lack of reaction seemed to piss him off more. "Look, I know I screwed you over," he said, his jaw tight. "Name your price. If I can afford it, I'll pay it. Just sign the papers." I looked at him amused. "Wait, you think you're who? My husband? Are you high? I have a boyfriend. His name is Liam." I was actually getting annoyed now. This prank wasn't funny. I was dating Liam, the hottest guy from my university. He was gentle, kind, and a beast in the sack. This cold piece of ice. Blake couldn't compare. Blake slammed on the brakes, his face twisting into an ugly scowl. "Maya, don't test my patience. Marrying you was a mistake. I've always loved Chloe. If you had any dignity, you would have stepped aside when she came back from Europe. But no, you had to play games. And that's why the kidnappers targeted you." Smack. I backhanded him across the face before he could finish. "Are you brain damaged?" I screamed. "I said I have a boyfriend."
Why are you barking at me?
"If Liam hears about this, he's going to kick your ass." Blake touched his cheek, 5 red finger marks blooming on his pale skin. He looked shell-shocked. Travis, who was still watching from the curb, looked like his eyes were going to pop out. They dragged me back into the hospital for another brain scan.
Typical.
The doctor said everything was physically fine. Trauma-induced selective amnesia, they called it. I remembered everything perfectly, except the fact that I had ever married this douchebag. Walking out of the hospital again, I glared at Blake. "Listen to me clearly." I enunciated every word. 1. You're not my type. Don't flatter yourself. 2. The courthouse is still open. Let's go get those divorce papers right now. 3. Get the hell out of my life. Travis whispered frantically, "Maya, stop it. If you get your memory back, you're going to regret losing him." I looked at my brother with zero emotion. "No, I won't. We're divorcing," I continued, voice getting louder. "That gives Chloe the chance to stop being a mistress and actually become a wife. Why are you stopping me? If I remember everything, maybe I'll decide to sue her ass instead." Travis exploded. She is your sister. How can you call her a mistress? You people told me I'm married to this guy. While I was in a coma, Chloe got pregnant by him. That is the literal definition of a homewrecker. Do our parents not teach basic morals anymore? I stepped closer to Travis. And you. I was in rehab for months. You never visited. Mom and Dad came once just to see if I could still pop out babies. Now I realize they probably already knew Chloe was pregnant. They were hoping I was barren so they could use it as an excuse to toss me aside like trash. Blake's aggressive demeanor softened, replaced by doubt. Did you really forget we were married? Or is this some sick game to get my attention? I made a gagging noise. Dude, look in a mirror. You aren't half as hot as Liam. Why would I choose you? Honestly, I'm questioning my own taste if I actually married you. Liam is a filet mignon. You're a gas station hot dog. Blake turned red. You chased me for 10 years. You sucked up to my family. If Chloe hadn't gone abroad, I never would have looked at you. Bull Shaster's tea. I laughed. I'm not that desperate. If I chased a man, it would be Liam, never you. Since I denied our epic love story, Blake was fuming. He looked ready to strangle me. Whatever, I waved my hand. If we're married, let's fix it.
Divorce.
Now, the office is open for 2 more hours. It's Saturday, you idiot, Blake growled. So, no divorce today. Travis ditched me, speeding off and leaving me with my husband. I wanted to see this so-called home of ours, hoping it would trigger a memory. The moment I stepped into the Sterling mansion, my skin crawled. My body physically rejected this place. I'm staying at a hotel, I said, backing up. This place feels like a morgue. Stop testing me, Blake started. I was already halfway down the driveway. He grabbed my wrist hard. Are you deaf? Instinct took over. I need him directly in the balls. Hard. As he crumpled to the ground wheezing, I sprinted out of the gated community like I was running for Olympic gold. I called my best friend, Harper. She screamed when she heard my voice and booked the first flight out. Midnight. I was squatting by a dumpster, starving and exhausted. Harper found me, and we cried in each other's arms until my stomach growled loud enough to wake the dead. We checked into a hotel. While I shoved a burger into my face, I ranted about my crazy family and the psycho who claimed to be my husband. Harper just stared at me, horrified. Why are you looking at me like that? I asked. Ketchup on my chin, is Blake actually my husband? Harper nodded slowly. Babe, you were obsessed. You were a total simp for him for over a decade. Don't you remember?
But.
Liam, I love Liam. I'm loyal. I wouldn't cheat on Liam. Without loser Blake, Harper's eyes welled up. You really forgot a lot. She hugged me tight. Maybe it's better this way. A year ago, you and Chloe were kidnapped, Blake. That bastard, the kidnappers, poisoned both of you. He had one antidote. He knew Chloe might have staged the whole thing, but he still gave it to her. He left you to die. You're only alive because you're too stubborn to go to hell. She wiped a tear. Forget him, divorce him. Already on it, I said. Chloe is pregnant. Anyway, those two deserve each other. I wish I could have erased your memories sooner. Harper sighed. That wasn't love, Maya. That was an addiction. The next afternoon, I woke up to screaming, you shameless whore. Stealing your sister's husband and getting knocked up. You make me sick. It was Harper. I ran to the door. Harper was in the hallway, screaming at Chloe, who was wearing a white dress and looking like a fragile flower. Travis was there too, and he had his hands around Harper's throat, choking her. I didn't think. I lunged. I punched Travis square in the eye socket. He let go. Howling in pain, I stood in front of Harper. What are you doing here? Trying to commit murder?
Get lost.
Chloe dropped to her knees, theatrically crying. Sister, why does everyone blame me? Blake has always loved me. You stole him when I went abroad. You used the kidnapping to trap him. It's all your fault. Slap. The sound echoed through the hallway. Slap. Slap. I hit her 2 more times, back and forth. My hand actually stung. God, your face is thick, I said, shaking my hand. That hurt me more than you. Chloe's eyes went wide with disbelief. Probably because in all 26 years of her life, nobody had ever hit her back. Not her parents. Not Travis. Not Blake. Not even the nurses when she acted like a dying Victorian orphan every time someone told her no. Tears flooded her eyes instantly. Then she did what she always did. She collapsed. Right onto the hotel carpet. Oh my God. Harper deadpanned beside me. The rare fainting goat in its natural habitat. Chloe. Travis shoved past us and dropped to his knees beside her. Breathe. Baby, breathe. Baby? I blinked. Then I looked at Harper.
Harper looked at me.
And we both burst out laughing. Travis whipped around, furious. What the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? I pointed at the woman fake hyperventilating on the floor. Your pregnant mistress sister just called me a homewrecker in front of my own hotel room. She's pregnant, Travis roared. And I'm hungry, I snapped back. But you don't see me rolling around on the carpet like a dying cockroach. Chloe suddenly whimpered louder. Oscar-worthy performance. I crouched beside her and smiled sweetly. If you're gonna faint, commit to the bit. Your eyelids are twitching. Her eyes immediately squeezed tighter shut. Harper snorted so hard, she nearly choked. That was when the elevator dinged. And Blake stepped out. The second his eyes landed on Chloe crumpled on the floor, his face changed completely.
Panic. Guilt.
Devotion. It would have been romantic if he didn't look like a man sprinting toward a nuclear bomb he personally created. Chloe. He rushed over and scooped her up. She immediately clung to his shirt weakly. Blake, don't blame my sister. I gagged. Actually gagged. Out loud. Blake's eyes snapped toward me, ice cold. What did you do to her? 3 slaps and a reality check. I replied honestly. You. And before you start barking again, I cut him off. Your mistress came to my hotel room to cry about destiny and true love. Frankly, I think I handled it with incredible restraint. She is not my mistress, Blake said sharply. I stared at him, then at Chloe in his arms, then at her stomach, then back at him. You raw-dogged her while married to me. His jaw tightened. Harper whispered, raw-dogged is crazy. Am I wrong? I asked. No, Harper admitted. Blake looked like he wanted to strangle both of us. Travis stood up protectively in front of Chloe, like a guard dog with rabies. Maya, apologize right now. For what? For hitting your sister? I crossed my arms. Okay. Chloe, I'm sorry your face intercepted my hand 3 times. Harper wheezed. Travis looked 1 second away from cardiac arrest. Blake finally spoke again, voice low and dangerous. Enough. The hallway went silent. He looked exhausted. Not sad. Not remorseful. Just tired. Like the consequences of his own actions were inconveniencing him. Maya, he said flatly, you've made your point. Stop humiliating Chloe. Something inside me snapped. Not dramatically. Quietly. Cleanly. I looked him dead in the eye. You let me die. Blake froze. The hallway went still. Even Chloe stopped fake whimpering. You stood there with one antidote. I continued softly, and you chose her. His face paled. I spent a year trapped inside my own body.
Do you know what that feels like?
My voice shook for the first time. I could hear people talking around me sometimes. Nurses. Machines. Rain against the windows. I heard Mom ask if my uterus still worked. Harper's eyes filled with tears. I heard Travis say the hospital bills were a waste. Travis looked horrified. You could hear us? Sometimes. His face went white. I looked back at Blake. And the first thing he said after I woke up was sign the divorce papers. Silence. Heavy.
Ugly.
Then I smiled. Small. Cold. But honestly, thank you. Blake frowned like the words physically hurt him. If I had remembered loving you, I said, this would have destroyed me. I stepped closer. But I don't. His throat bobbed. You're just some guy who abandoned me to die. That hit him. I saw it happen in real time. Like someone drove a knife straight between his ribs. Good. Chloe suddenly grabbed his sleeve desperately. Blake, my chest hurts. Instantly, his attention snapped back to her. Of course it did. I laughed quietly. There it was. The answer. Every single time. He would choose her. Over me. Over anyone. Honestly, that made this easier. I grabbed Harper's hand.
Come on, I said.
I'm starving again. Maya, Blake called suddenly. I turned. For the first time since I'd woken up, he looked uncertain, almost shaken. What? He stared at me for a long moment. Then his eyes dropped to my hand holding Harper's. You really don't remember loving me? I tilted my head. No, I answered truthfully. And thank God for that. 3 days later, I met the love of my life in a police station. Romantic, right? Harper and I were filing a harassment report because Chloe had apparently discovered my hotel address through fate. By fate, I mean Travis's dumbass. Again. I was signing paperwork when someone behind me said, Maya? The pen slipped from my fingers. That voice. Warm honey over whiskey. Slow. Familiar. My heartbeat stuttered before my brain caught up. I turned around. And there he was. Liam Carter.
Tall.
Broad shoulders. Messy dark hair. That stupid little scar on his chin from when he crashed his motorcycle junior year. His eyes locked onto mine like he'd seen a ghost. Then his face shattered. Maya, he breathed. Before I could react, he crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled me into his arms. Not hesitant. Not careful. Desperate. Like he'd been drowning for a year. And suddenly my chest hurt. Because my body remembered him before my mind did. The smell of cedar and rain. The way his hand spread across my back. The tiny tremble in his breathing. My fingers clenched his jacket instinctively. Harper burst into tears immediately. Oh, thank God, she sobbed. I pulled back slowly, staring at Liam's face. His eyes were bloodshot. Like he hadn't slept properly in months. You're alive, he said hoarsely. Confusion twisted in my stomach. Obviously, his jaw tightened hard enough to crack teeth. No, he said quietly. Not obviously. Something about the way he said it made my chest squeeze. I frowned. Do I know you? The entire police station went silent. Harper looked like she wanted to throw herself into traffic. Liam just stared at me. Then he laughed once.
Soft.
Broken. Wow, he whispered. You really forgot me too. Too? My stomach dropped. What does that mean? Harper looked guilty. Very guilty. The kind of guilty that ruins lives. Harper, I said slowly. What does he mean? She looked anywhere except my face. Maya, what does he mean? Liam saved her. We dated for 4 years, he said gently. I blinked.
What?
We lived together for almost 1. I stared at him, then at Harper, then back at him. No, I said immediately. No way. I would have remembered someone that hot. Harper made a choking sound. Liam actually laughed.
A real one this time. God.
It changed his whole face. Warmth exploded through my chest so suddenly it scared me. I took a step back instinctively. Liam noticed. His smile faded instantly.
Right.
Because to him, I was his girlfriend. And to me, he was a stranger with unfairly beautiful eyes. That had to hurt. I'm sorry, I said awkwardly. I don't remember. His expression softened immediately. You don't have to apologize for surviving.
Well.
That sentence did something dangerous to my nervous system. I cleared my throat fast. So, I glanced between him and Harper. Someone want to explain why I apparently had a whole boyfriend while being married to Frostbite Ken over there? Harper winced. Liam went still. What?
Oops. Right.
He didn't know. I rubbed my face. Apparently, I married Blake Sterling. Silence. Then, that fucking psychopath what? Every cop in the station looked up. Liam looked seconds away from committing felony assault. Harper grabbed his arm quickly. Lower your voice. No, actually, I'd like to raise it, Liam snarled. That manipulative rich bastard married her while she was grieving me? My brain screeched to a halt. Grieving you? Liam froze. Harper whispered. Oh no. I looked between them slowly. What happened? Liam's face went pale. Harper looked ready to evaporate. Then I understood. Oh my God, I whispered. You died? Temporarily, Liam muttered. What the hell does temporarily mean? Harper buried her face in her hands. Liam exhaled slowly. A year and a half ago, I was in an accident. Bits and pieces flickered in my head suddenly.
Rain.
A hospital hallway. Me screaming. A flatlining monitor. Pain so unbearable it hollowed me out from the inside. I staggered slightly. Liam caught me immediately. And, again, my body remembered him. Safe. Safe, safe, safe. You disappeared after that, he said quietly. Nobody could reach you. Then suddenly I hear you married Blake Sterling 2 months later. Harper looked furious now. Her parents isolated her, she snapped. She was drugged half the time after your accident. Chloe kept whispering that Blake would protect her. They manipulated her when she was vulnerable. My stomach twisted violently. No, I whispered. Harper nodded miserably. Yes. Liam looked like he wanted to kill someone. Possibly several someones. Suddenly everything made horrifying sense. The obsession. The marriage. The emptiness I felt every time people talked about Blake. Because it wasn't love. It was trauma. Manufactured dependency. I sat down hard in the nearest chair. Oh my God, that sounds disgustingly in love. You were, he said softly. My chest tightened again. Then my phone rang.
Blake.
Of course. The devil works overtime. I stared at the screen. Liam saw the name. His entire demeanor changed instantly.
Cold.
Sharp. Territorial. Don't answer. Harper called from across the room while eating chips. I answered immediately out of spite. Maya, Blake said coldly. Where are you? I looked directly into Liam's eyes, then smiled slowly. At the police station with my ex-boyfriend. Dead silence. Then Blake said very quietly. What? I leaned back in the plastic chair, suddenly feeling much better about my day. You heard me, I said sweetly. My ex-boyfriend. Liam. Remember him? Tall, handsome, emotionally stable. Across from me, Liam nearly choked. Harper cackled into her vending machine chips. Blake's silence on the phone turned dangerous. Then, you're lying. Nope. Maya, his voice dropped lower. You don't even remember him. I remember enough. That wasn't entirely true. I remembered fragments. Warmth. Laughter. Love so intense it physically ached. Meanwhile, every memory connected to Blake felt cold and sharp, like touching broken glass. Blake exhaled harshly through the phone. Where are you exactly? The police station. Why? Because your mistress came to my hotel to perform Swan Lake on the carpet. She was trying to apologize. I looked at Harper. Harper looked at me. Then we both burst out laughing so loudly a cop glanced over. Tell Chloe, I said once I stopped wheezing, that if she apologizes near me again, I'll slap the baby into next Tuesday. Liam slowly turned toward me. You can't say things like that. I didn't mean it literally. You said it very literally.
Fair.
Blake sounded furious now. Watch your mouth. Or what? You'll poison me again? Silence. Instant.
Dead.
I shouldn't have said it. I knew that immediately. Because for the first time since waking up, Blake sounded hurt. Actually hurt. I never poisoned you, he said quietly. No, I replied coldly. You just let me die. I hung up before he could answer. The station fell quiet again. Liam stared at me carefully. You okay? No, I admitted honestly. But I think I'm getting funnier. That earned a reluctant smile. God, he had a beautiful smile. Dangerous. Illegal, even. I rubbed my temples. So let me get this straight. We dated 4 years. You almost died. My psycho family isolated me while I was vulnerable. Then I somehow married Blake. Harper raised a finger. Important detail. Chloe came back from Europe right after Liam's accident. Convenient, I muttered. Exactly, Harper snapped. Liam's jaw tightened. I tried contacting you after I woke up. I looked up sharply. You did. Hundreds of times. Something ugly settled in my stomach. My number changed, he continued. Your apartment lease disappeared. Your social media got wiped. Then Travis threatened me. Harper looked murderous. That bastard told Liam you were mentally unstable and needed space. My vision blurred red for a second. Oh, I'm gonna kill him. Liam reached over automatically, thumb brushing my wrist gently. Instant calm. It startled both of us. We froze. Because, again, my body knew him, even if my mind didn't. Liam pulled his hand back slowly, like he was afraid to push too hard. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Habit. No, I said too fast. It's okay. Our eyes met. Something warm and terrifying passed between us. Harper suddenly stood up.
Wow.
This is emotionally intense. I'm gonna go pretend to read this missing cat poster. Coward. The moment she left, silence settled between us.
Not awkward.
Just heavy. Liam finally spoke first. You really don't remember loving me? There was no accusation in his voice, which somehow made it worse. I looked down at my hands. I swallowed hard. I think maybe my brain cut out everything that hurt too much. He didn't answer immediately. Then quietly, that means I hurt you too. No, I said instinctively. His eyes lifted to mine, and another fragment slammed into me. Rain pouring outside a hospital. Me screaming at doctors. My hands shaking while clutching someone's bloody hoodie. Liam unconscious. Machines beeping. Then, a ring. Silver. Bent from impact. I gasped sharply. Maya? You proposed, I whispered. Liam went completely still. Tears instantly filled my eyes. You proposed and I said yes. His face crumpled. Actually crumpled. Like he'd spent over a year holding himself together with duct tape and spite. You remembered, he breathed. I pressed a hand against my temple as more pieces flickered. A tiny apartment kitchen. Dancing barefoot at 2 a.m. Him calling me Maybug. Me stealing fries off his plate.
Love.
Real love. Not obsession. Not desperation. Not whatever toxic horror show existed with Blake. Love that felt soft. Safe. My chest hurt so badly, I could barely breathe. Liam crouched in front of me again immediately.
Hey.
Don't force it. I was gonna marry you, I whispered. You still can. The words slipped out before he could stop them. We both froze. Liam closed his eyes briefly.
Sorry.
That was unfair. But my heart had already betrayed me, because it skipped.
Hard.
Before I could answer, the station doors slammed open. Blake Sterling walked in looking like violence in a tailored black suit. Every head turned. Even the cops looked nervous. Then his eyes landed on Liam kneeling in front of me, and the temperature in the entire room dropped 20 degrees. Liam stood immediately. The two men stared at each other.
God.
The testosterone in the room became a public health hazard. Blake's gaze shifted to my tear-streaked face, then to Liam's hand still hovering near my knee. His jaw flexed dangerously. She remembered you, he said flatly. Liam's expression turned cold. She remembered enough. Blake looked at me. Really looked. And for the first time since I woke up, he seemed scared. Not angry. Not annoyed. Scared. Maya, he said carefully, come home. I stared at him, then burst out laughing. Home? That mausoleum? That place where everybody watched me die while planning Chloe's baby shower? Absolutely not. I wiped my tears and smiled sweetly. I'd rather lick a public bathroom floor. Blake didn't react right away. For a second, he just stood there in the police station like the world had finally stopped obeying him. Then his expression tightened, like he was putting armor back on. Don't be dramatic, Maya, he said coldly. You're upset. You've been manipulated. Liam stepped forward. No, he cut in, voice calm but sharp. She's just done with you. The room went still. Even Harper stopped breathing for a second. Blake's gaze flicked to Liam like he was something disposable. You don't get a say in this. Liam actually smiled. Small. Dangerous. I think I do, he said. Considering she remembered me before she remembered your name. That landed. Hard. Blake's jaw ticked. For the first time, he looked unstable. Not angry in control. Angry like something cracking. Behind him, Travis appeared in the doorway and froze when he saw me. Like it physically hit him that I wasn't the same person he'd left behind. Maya, he started. I didn't even look at him fully. Don't. One word. That was enough. Travis flinched like I'd slapped him harder than Chloe ever could. Harper leaned closer to me. Oh my God, your villain origin story is completing in real time. I'm not a villain, I muttered. I'm just unemployed in the love department. Liam snorted. Blake didn't. His voice dropped. If you walk away now, you lose everything. I blinked slowly. Everything. I looked around. At him. At Travis. At the memory of a family that treated me like a spare part. At a marriage that felt like a locked room I never agreed to enter. Then I smiled.
Good, I said.
Silence snapped like a wire. Blake's eyes hardened. You think he'll last? You think some childhood romance survives what we went through? Liam stepped closer to me instead of away. I didn't survive for her to be your backup plan, he said simply. That was it. No shouting. No performance. Just truth. And something in Blake's face finally shifted. Like he realized he wasn't losing a fight. He'd already lost the person. 2 months later. The divorce was finalized in under 10 minutes. Blake didn't look at me once in court. Chloe didn't show up at all. Travis did. He tried to speak to me afterward. I walked past him. No anger. No revenge speech. Just absence. And somehow that hurt him more than anything I could have said. Blake's downfall wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. Companies stopped returning calls. Partners reconsidered. Friends disappeared faster than they appeared. And Chloe, who once played fragile and untouchable, found out very quickly that being chosen out of pity doesn't build a
life.
When Blake finally lost enough power to stop shielding her, the world didn't treat her gently. It simply stopped making space for her. She got exactly what she always wanted. Attention. Just not the kind she could survive. As for me, I stopped waking up angry. I started waking up late. With sunlight. With coffee. With Liam already cooking something he pretended not to burn. One morning, I caught him watching me like he was afraid I'd disappear again. What? I asked. He shrugged. Still checking your reel. I walked over, took the pan from him, and kissed his cheek. I'm real. He exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for a year. Good, he murmured. Because I'm not doing that again. Harper moved in rent-free and called it emotional damages compensation. I called it chaos. She called it healing.
She was probably right.
And Blake? Last I heard, he was still signing papers. Just not divorce papers anymore. 6 months later, I stood on a balcony with Liam, watching the city glow below us. No hospital rooms. No poison. No contracts pretending to be love. Just quiet. Liam slid a ring into my palm, not asking, just letting me decide. Different time, he said softly. No pressure. No coma. No chaos. I looked at it. Then at him. Then I laughed a little. You're really bad at moving on, you know that? He smiled.
Yeah.
I noticed. I slipped it onto my finger myself.
Fine, I said.
But if you ever choose Chloe over me in another life, I'm haunting you. He kissed me immediately. No reruns, he said. And for the first time in a very long time, I believed him.